He wants a Porsche. His credit is close to negative 400.
Bankruptcy is not the end of the world. You can file again after 8 years.
He's ready to buy a Porsche today. Financially, he'll be ready in about 2 weeks.
He's here today because he came to get approved for a car, and we can help him out, but we just can't really get qualified for a Porsche. I just talked to my finance manager, so he's saying, listen, if we have to do this pretty much in your name, right? If we can't get anyone on here to help you out on that credit side, then we can certainly get you approved with $6,000 down. There's no question if we can get you approved. Can we get you approved for that Porsche? When you're ready with the $6,000, it's going to be questionable. Things may be different then. We may not even have the Porsche when you have the $6,000. But finance is saying, if you can come when you have the $6,000 all put together, for sure, we'll get you on the road.
He wants a Porsche and plans to put $6,000 down. The problem is the $6,000 doesn't exist yet. It's supposed to show up in a few weeks. The money wasn't saved. It's something he's expecting. Before he even has it, he's trying to spend it.
Something nice, something reliable.
But if you said if I had that 6 right now, then it was a go.
I can't tell you concrete that it's a go, but we will certainly fight to get you in something, if not the Porsche, then something similar.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be nothing else but that.
You tell me that's the only thing?
Reason I came here for.
For the Porsche?
For the Porsche.
Then if that's what we have to do, then we'll fight to get you into the Porsche, brother.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, give me like 2 weeks. It's already a done deal. I've been looking at that for a couple of months.
Listen, now you got my cell, okay? So if you need anything from me in between the time of now and when you're ready to purchase it, you call me, you text me, okay?
All right, appreciate it.
All right, Prince, you reach out to me, brother. Okay, enjoy your weekend.
If you have to wait weeks just to come up with the money, you're not ready for the car. This isn't a need, it's a want. And it's being pushed before the basics are even in place. If the money isn't there yet, the Porsche shouldn't be either. When the down payment is already a problem, the rest of the deal will be too.
I love when people are like, oh my God, your house is so small, your house is so old. You know what else is small? My mortgage and my interest rate. In all seriousness though, I live inside my means. So if you're looking for that creator that has like the nice, sterile, big white house where everything's white and agreeable gray, couldn't be me. Nope. I like paying a mortgage that's only 3 digits. I like car payments that are only 3 digits. Could I afford to go out and buy a brand new car? Sure could. Sure could. Don't want to. Could I afford to go out and buy a brand new house? Yep. Sure could too. Don't want to.
Finally, someone doing it right, living below her means. Able to afford more but choosing not to. No pressure to upgrade, no rush to spend. Just making choices that actually make sense. But I'd still pay off the car if the money is there.
This is called an investment property because one day I'm going to rent this bitch out because I don't know that much money on her and then she's going to pay for the next house that I buy. Anyways, the point is if you're trying to make fun of me for my house, I'm making fun of you for being in debt. I would rather be debt free and have nice shit. In case anyone needed to hear this, there's nothing wrong with living in a normal house with oak cabinets and everything else, and there's nothing wrong with driving a 7, 10, 15-year-old car. Don't keep up with the Joneses. Don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about you. Take pride in what you do have and always work to what you want to get to.
This kind of thinking is what puts her further ahead than most people. She has a plan and she doesn't care what anyone thinks. She's focused on where she's going, not keeping up with people around her. She's making decisions that work for her, and that patience adds up over time.
You don't have money, but you get on the internet and listen to financial advice from people that do. Here's some car buying advice that I do not agree with as a regular person with regular person money. Number 1, if you're financing a car, that means you can't afford it. I hate this, and I see it all the time. According to CarEdge.com, the average price of a pre-owned car is about $25,000, and the average price of a new car is about $47,000. We can all agree that cars are expensive, but so is life. So there's nothing wrong with making payments over time to eventually own your vehicle. People are literally financing shoes and purses. Like, come on.
Not all, but most people are financing because they can't afford it. That's why payments get stretched out over 6 or 7 years. It's meant to seem affordable. Smaller payments feel manageable. I've financed vehicles in the past, and the only reason I did is because I didn't have the money. Just because you can make the payment does not mean you can afford the car.
Number 2, financing a car for 72 months is diabolical. Another one that I hate. I am taking that 72-month loan every time, and here's why. Stretching out that term to give myself a lower minimum payment to make myself more comfortable on a monthly basis, while also recognizing that I am going to be throwing more money at that loan to pay it off quicker than 6 years and also save myself that extra interest. New York State has no prepayment penalty, so look at your state before you listen to that one.
Very few people stretch out a loan to 72 months just so they can pay it off early. It's possible, but life gets in the way, other bills come up, money goes elsewhere, and before you know it, you're just making the payment every month. The loan doesn't end early, it just lasts longer, and you end up paying more.
And lastly, always pay cash for your car. No. People that give this advice are referring to buying yourself a $5,000, $7,000 beater. The cost of living is so high that even breathing is expensive now for me. With my regular expenses slowly creeping up, it is harder than ever to save money. Without taking into account how long it would actually take to save said money, I am not taking a chunk out of my bank account to buy something that may be less reliable and potentially lead to unwanted repair costs and maintenance. I say all this to say that personal finances are personal, and you should do ultimately what makes the most sense to you.
She doesn't want to take the money out of her account, but she is willing to take it out of her future income. That doesn't make any sense. If you have $10,000 in the bank and you owe $10,000 on a car loan, you have zero. In the past, I tried saving while carrying debt and found it pointless. You need an emergency fund, yes, but everything beyond that should be going towards debt.
If you have debt, the first thing you should be doing is saving money, bro. Reason being is because you have debt, so if there's any emergencies that happen, you're not going to be able to pay any of that shit off because you have no money saved. So that's why I always advise you guys to always save at least 1 to 2 months worth of bills. Put that shit to the side. Don't touch it, and then you could start attacking your debt. If you like to invest like I do, you could do both at the same time. And if you simply don't make enough money, or you just don't have enough money, go make more money. Pick up a second job, work some night shifts, DoorDash, Uber Eats. Just do something to generate more money so you're able to become debt free, because once you're debt free, now you're able to do whatever you want. You can spend your money on whatever you want, and you can start doing whatever you want.
The text on the clip says, don't pay your debt. He's telling people to stop paying their bills so they can save, then deal with the debt later. And after that, supposedly buy whatever you want. That's not how it works. If you stop paying your debts, your credit score gets destroyed. Late payments, defaults, collections, it adds up fast. And you don't get to choose when you'll need credit again. Blowing up your credit score to save first just creates a bigger problem later.
If you've reached this page, I'm Ms. Vicky, and I have about $108,000 worth of consumer debt. Today is November 18th, 2025, and there's been a lot of stuff going on in my life. The other day I mentioned about my car. We're still waiting to hear about that. We had to get caught up on our electricity. Finally done. Had to use up what was left on a credit card. Hated doing that. Gotta have the lights on.
$108,000 of consumer debt, and she's not using her credit card for extras anymore. She used whatever was left just to keep the lights on. That tells you there's no room left, no backup. Once credit cards are paying for the basics, there's nothing left to lean on.
So, still trying to get myself reset for 2026. Things are just on a holding pattern. Nothing really major going on, no significant movements or anything like that. I am just waiting until this Saturday when I will be able to log on and make a withdrawal from my 401k. And I know a lot of you are going, don't do that. It's just enough to throw something and break up the logger jam that's called my debt. And that's really about it. There's really nothing much going on. I feel silly coming on here creating content when just to talk.
This is a scary position to be in, especially later in life. Borrowing from retirement just to get by. And this is where a lot of people end up. And instead of fixing it, they're posting about it. The only real way out of it is to increase income. It would be great if TikTok paid off your debt, but for most people, it's not happening.
I filed bankruptcy in May of 2024, last year, and it has been about a year and a half, and here are some things that have happened that I figured I would share with you. First, my credit score went from the gutter up into the 600s. It was like 605 or something, and then I was able to build credit from there. I was able to get approved for credit cards after our bankruptcy discharged. Highest limits I've ever had, lowest interest rates I'd ever gotten, and I have kept those accounts in good standing and built my credit way better than it was ever before. I was able to purchase a new to me vehicle.
She already bought another vehicle. Most bankruptcy clips focus on rebuilding credit, getting new cards, buying another car. That matters, but it's not the most important part. The real issue is fixing what caused the bankruptcy in the first place.
Right after our bankruptcy discharged, I actually could have done it the day after I filed, but I chose to wait because I wasn't sure what I was doing with the vehicle I had at the time. And it proved to be the best decision I was ever to make. I got a good payment, a better interest rate, and I was able to actually negotiate. I also learned that when you file bankruptcy with a spouse, it makes going through a divorce that much easier. My now ex-husband and I filed together in May of 2024. We got divorced this year, and it made it so we didn't have to separate debt. We didn't have to go back and forth on who owned what debt.
Bankruptcy and a divorce. You have to wonder how much the finances played a role. Usually, it's a big part of it. Late bills, constant pressure, no breathing room. When money becomes a daily problem, it affects the entire household.
Nobody knew we filed. Back in May, the only reason anybody knew we filed bankruptcy was because I was talking about it openly on the internet. It wasn't published in the newspaper. It wasn't anything. Yes, they are public records. You can actually go look it up. But nobody cares. Bankruptcy is not the end of the world. Bankruptcy is not going to destroy your life. Yes, it stays on your credit report for 8 to 10 years. You can file again after 8 years for Chapter 7. It's not the end of the world.
Bankruptcy isn't the end of the world. It happens. Sometimes it's the only way out. But saying you can just file again in 8 years is a strange thing to say. It makes it sound like it's a backup plan instead of a last resort. That mindset usually leads to the same problems repeating.
We're increasingly realizing that the 25 and 26-year-old in America has been screwed by the large banks and the car companies like never before, like no generation before. So if you're 25 or 26, you've been screwed by the big banks like you've never been screwed before.
From the loans that they're having
The
to
loans,
take.
they've, you cannot buy a house when you have a $1,200 car payment, when you have a student loan that's $85,000, and you got credit card debt coming out your ears. Record credit card debt, record car debt, record debt, and then you sit there and whine you can't buy a house because you got victimized by these people. You set yourself up for it. You signed up for the trip, baby, but you've been screwed by the Citibanks. What's in your wallet? The money that's going to Citibank should have been going to buy you a house.
A lot of people say they can't afford a home, and on the surface, that feels true. But when you look at the numbers, it's usually not the house. It's everything that came before it. Big car loans and revolving credit don't just cost money, they cost options. They quietly decide what's possible long before a mortgage comes up. They close doors before people realize they were open. And then they wonder why homeownership feels out of reach. If you want to see more, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.